Tell me when you're ready.
Okay, we're ready. So it's what, October 19th? You said?
October
19th. 2013. Okay. So Graham, we just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. So we'll start in the beginning. Where were your parents born in Canada?
My father was born in Nova Scotia. Oh, West Ayrshire in Nova Scotia, Canada. My mother was born in Marguerite Fox. That's Inverness County. That's the same. That's Nova Scotia. So that's where they were born.
Nice. And where were Marie and Clarence Pratt born?
My in-laws.
Your in-laws.
Marie in Memram Cook, New Brunswick. Clarence was born in Waltham, Mass.
Okay.
How would you want to know?
Yeah. So when was your I don't even, off the top of my head I can't remember your maiden name. I don't even know it. I don't think I know it because you've always been Grammy.
Do you want the French or do you want
both? First French.
The French is Deslauriers. Deslauriers. And in English you'd say Delory.
Delory. But
it's Deslauriers, Teles or something.
Okay. So where were you born?
I was born in Watertown, Mass. In 1921 on School Street in Watertown, Massachusetts.
That's where you lived? Or were you born at home? Or in a hospital?
I was born at home.
At home? Nice. So then you went to school in Watertown, Mass?
For a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah. We moved up to Waltham. I thought it was Newton. Well, I went from Watertown. I went to Newton. Yes, because I went to school at St. John Evangelist in Newton, Mass. And where we had English in the morning and French in the afternoon and vice versa. Can't remember. And I don't know. I lost it. I went to I think it was Newton High for a bit. Newton High is where I quit, I think. Yes.
So it was a bilingual school? Elementary school and middle school?
The first one, yes. St. John's, yeah. So
there was a big French-speaking community?
Yes.
That lived there?
It was a French school, but that's what they called it. St. John Evangelist.
So what language was spoken at home?
Well...
Or was there more than one language?
Well, no, my mother and father both were French. They could talk. They didn't want us to know what they were talking about. They'd talk in French. But I was catching on pretty good when I was going to school. Right. So, they didn't hide much from me. But anyway, it was quite a fiasco in that house. All kinds of language going on.
So how about your siblings?
Well, what about them? What do you want to know?
I don't actually. I know you had sisters, right?
Oh,
I don't know how many or.
I had 3 sisters and 2 brothers.
Oh wow! Okay, I never realized. There were 6 of you total, including you.
And what's it?
There are 6 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And how are you the middle? You're one of the middle.
Let's see. Yes. Let me see. There was Evelyn. Yeah. Willie was Willie the Willie was older, and Evelyn was older, and then there was me. Yeah. And I took care of Rita, Joni, and Tommy. Because I had to quit school. Help out.
So did they all stayed in New England, right? Or did they? But
yes, they all. That was their home base.
Yeah.
my brother went to service and everybody. My father and mother separated, so my brother went to Clinton, Mass.
Mm-hmm.
To live with my father. He was about 12 years old, I think. And it was, he needed a father.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. So.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, what was it like during the war in Raytheon? Didn't you?
That was cute.
Uh-huh.
Well,
what is Raytheon first? Because I know the name, but I don't really know what it is.
It's a place where they made the tubes, the atomic things, and so on and so forth. I was not able to do anything. I didn't have a job, and because Fred was working all the time at Waltham Watch Company, and I had Carol to take care of. She must have been about 3 or 4 or whatever, 5, right in there. And Raytheon needed somebody to test their tubes with the engineers out there. So I said I couldn't do it. So they personally sent the person for me with a taxi and picked me up, took me there, and brought me home. And that's what I did during the war. And it had to be, I had somebody to take care, my sister to take care of Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to
so how many
test
hours?
tubes.
How many hours a day did you work?
I worked about 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
7 sometimes, and 8. But they all saw that I got home, you know, because it depends how much work there was to do. And testing tubes is something, it was all mechanical. It was really something else. But I think some of those tubes, they went all over the world, you know. So the engineers would get together, and then they'd bring me these tubes and say, try this, give me the reading on that, I mean this, that. So, it's a good thing I had a few brains.
Uh-huh. Nice. What, So how about Fred? How did Fred come into your life?
Oh, my cousin, Gogans, I don't know if you never met them, Carol. They were from Waltham, and Fred had a car. I was still living in Watertown at that time. And I don't know, well, 13, I don't know. 13, I guess. 14. Yeah, somewhere, I don't know, I can't remember. But anyway, they picked my sister up in the car, this group that they hung around with. And I was always sitting on the step watching them. And when they picked her up, you know, and stuff. All of a sudden, Fred says, "Can I sit here with you?" I said, "Yeah, sure." We're yakking away and everything, and my mother comes out and she's frowning and she said, "You're not going out with him." I said, "What?" I said, "No." And he said he jumped up and ran. Then he came back again and he asked my mother if he could sit there with me. And yeah, she'd allow that. But when he wanted to take me out, she'd say no.
So, but didn't he then kind of come to see your sister, Evie, or something?
Not him. He came with his mice, but it was courting me, so to speak, what he was trying to. He came with a pocket full of white mice, My mother threw him out. She says, "Get those out of here!" You know. So, Evelyn was, the boys that were interested with Evelyn were older, you know, and so she was older, and they used to get him to drop him off. We see her. Fred did. Fred dropped him off. So Fred would come and see me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then how long did you know him before you guys got married? Do you think about?
Oh, a few years, a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 or 3 years. I don't know. 2. Anyway, because I was young, I got married at 17. So, you know, everybody up in arms. Too young, too young. And the reason I had 2 marriages, that's one of your questions.
Yeah, why were there 2 marriages?
Because
to the same man.
Yeah, to the same man. Right.
Yeah, to the same man.
Was because we thought we were smart and we ran away and had a double wedding with our friend Jimmy and May Champion.
You were only 16 then.
And yes, I was 16. And of course I turned 17 the next month. But anyway, what I could tell you. Oh, we got home, and both the parents were all up in the air. This is ridiculous. And of course, they all thought it was supposed to be a swift marriage or something. So that wasn't true. I was a good girl. But they insisted we get married by the priest. And that's where I went back to Father Rubbish Show at St. John the Evangelist, and he gave me a slap in the face and said, "Oh, ma petite Madeleine, you're too young to get that." So, anyway, he was glad I got married. By the church. By the church.
Nice. So where was the first wedding?
First wedding was in Damascus. Where Fred's folks were on vacation and they took us.
All right.
Yeah, they invited me along. Mistake.
Right. I don't understand.
They didn't know what he had in his mind.
So what happened? Did you guys sneak out and get married one day, or?
That was Jimmy and May.
Right.
With their friends.
From there.
They did the same
friends
thing.
From there. Right.
They got married, and their marriage lasted till they died.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were the same age.
Both families.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
So it must have been all right. I married 68 years, I guess. So that's all right.
Nice.
No regrets.
To talk about California.
California.
We were only there a year and a half, I think.
Well, hold on. How old were you when you had Carol?
I was 18 and a half, I think.
So you're 18 and a half, but you had lots of experience raising kids anyway, right? Because you had helped out at home.
Oh, yes. I could cook. I could do anything. I ran the household. So I had to.
Right. So, all right. So then California, you were there for a year and a half?
Year and a half, I think.
Year and a half.
Something like that.
Where, California?
Santa Ana. Southern California. And we lived in a trailer park.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did. We lived in a trailer park. Fred worked for...
In a jewelry store.
What's his name?
Trot?
Trot, yes.
Yeah, Trot.
Trot's jewelry store. And he came eventually, and after we left, Mr. Trot came to Maine with his wife, and they wanted us both to go down there and he was going to give Fred a big deal at the jewelry store, and I was going to do something else. I don't know what I was supposed to do, but I didn't want it. I said, no, I have my daughter, so I wouldn't work for her. But Fred did. Fred didn't. We didn't take it because we wanted to stay in Maine. We love Maine, so this is where we wanted to be, and this is where we got. For how many years now? 50. When did we buy this house? 59? Yeah, it was 50.
Yeah, but you moved here in 46.
46. Well, actually, we worked for Mrs. Bullock, unbeknown to the fact that we were buying the store. But 1946.
Mm-hmm. So you left Santa Ana. You returned to Massachusetts briefly, or you just went straight to Maine?
No, briefly.
Briefly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you moved to Maine, which is where you wanted to be the whole time.
Right. And then I lived on Union Street here
in Mrs. Cook's house.
Yes, that's right.
We rented that. Then we rented on West Street.
Yeah.
And then we spent most of my time growing up on Eastern Avenue, owned by Merritt Grover today.
Yeah.
At the end of Montgomery Road in Eastern.
Yeah. Right here, up the road.
And then
a piece.
59, my father bought the house they've been in ever since. So.
Yeah, 1959. We've been in this house 54 years, isn't it? Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Everything around here is old, even the people, so there we are.
So what was life like for you guys after Carol moved out? How was that change?
Out of the house.
Yeah.
Empty.
Empty?
Yeah.
Empty, because when she was in the house, there was always kids. Always children.
Kids always came here.
Even up
there.
Up the other house. They used to be playing Chinese checkers in one corner, and somebody, Kay Brown, was banging the piano, playing the one that plays downtown now. She was always there, and then she was helping somebody with the homework, and there was something all the time going on. It was wonderful.
That's before we sat around and watched TV or played video games, or you had to use your imagination to entertain yourself.
Yeah. Right.
Which is a shame today.
Yeah. They don't want to stay like that. In fact, that's what Kay always sings about when we go down there.
That's the pajama parties. I used to have, girl pajama parties, and imagine having Kay Brown, or Kay McPhee she was, and June Webster.
Yep.
And they're both fabulous piano players.
Oh, yeah.
We were always singing and music. Yeah.
So is that high school?
That's high school.
High school, yeah. Gee, how did we ever do that? We had pigs and sheep and geese and rabbits and geese. Gee, God. What was funny was when we had little Peep-Peep. It was a chicken who was our pet. And by gosh, didn't the fox thought he would fancy him. Well, the fox started over from the other side of the barn. I grabbed a stick of whatever it was, and I started after the fox. Well, imagine, was I foolish? Of course. Peep-Peep was flying around, and he got scared when he saw the fox. And the fox kept going. I started swinging the stick and hollering at him, by God, didn't he turn around and he went back in the woods?
Yeah.
I was lucky. Because
Yeah,
if he ever
come
attacked
after
me,
you.
he would have killed me. And I wasn't going to let him have peep-peep.
They got him anyway.
Yeah.
Something
It
got
did
him.
eventually.
Yeah. He was so cute, that chicken. He'd come in the house. He'd be in, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
We
like
had
a
chickens
pet.
in the house. We had a horse in the
house
house.
Oh, God.
Too.
Tell us about that.
Oh.
How did that come about?
What do you think? My
We were having
grandfather.
some kind of a party, and a celebration of some kind. And Fred says, "Oh yes, I'll show you. Best horse in the world, PJ." So I thought he was going to show it to him out the barn, you know. Next thing I knew, he had him in the back room out there, and those I had to get somebody to take those footprints off the floor.
Oh, jeez.
Gee, he had him right in the house. His head was right up to the ceiling. Oh my God! I just, your father was something else, Carol.
Yeah, we know that.
Anyway, we got rid of the geese. Remember, I kept saying to her, those geese have to go. They're hissing me all the time, and they're picking the end of the bags when I come home with the groceries. The groceries are going all over the place. And I said, this is too much. And I said, they're hissing. So you were here with the kids, with you, Eric, and Peter, and you're up on a mound of snow. It was snow out there in the yard, and the geese decided they were going to get you. And they hissed, and they came, and took each one of you by the rump, you know. And I said, that's it. They're going. No more. The geese are going, or I'm going. Look at their doing to your grandson. So, anyway, that was the end of the geese. Where they did go. They went over to East Boothbay with, what's his name? Gary.
Oh,
Gary Tibbetts.
Oh, they had a pond there where all the geese.
He took them, put them over there, and they had a pond with all those geese in it. Yeah. Gee.
Gary Tibbetts.
That scared the life out of me. The two geese after that.
Well, thank you, Grammy.
Yeah. I saved your life. How about the wild turkey that Steve Dunn took over here?
I don't know.
He followed Dad to work. He was following him down the road.
The turkey?
Yeah. Turkey said loved him. He loved your father.
Dog, I got him when I was 8 years old for my birthday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it?
And then, well, wasn't there a lamb story? Was there a lamb?
Oh.
I remember a lamb in a convertible car.
Pat and Mike.
Pat and Mike.
Yeah.
So they're named after people, right?
Yeah, they were named after Pat and Mike Pratt.
Right.
Mhm.
And he used to in his convertible on a nice day he'd have the top down, and in the back would be the two sheep instead of dogs. And people would, what? You know, they couldn't believe their eyes.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you tell him what happened? He jumped in the car when Dad was going downtown one time in the convertible. They jumped in the back seat, and he drove down by Payne's clothing store, and one woman was standing in front of us, and she saw the sheep in the car, and the Dad coming around, and they were, you know, and she fell off the sidewalk. Oh, that
broke
was
her
awful.
ankle.
Yes, that was terrible. But anyway, she was just amazed that she could see something like this. And of course, then we didn't put those in the freezer, because remember, we used to pack up the sheep and put your names on it.
Uh-huh.
Eric and...
We had an Eric and a Peter. But then they stopped making friends of the sheep because they couldn't eat them in October. And the purpose of buying the sheep and everything were
for
food.
We couldn't eat.
No.
We gave him to Dr. Proctor.
Yeah.
He said it was the best mutton he ever ate.
Oh.
I said, don't tell me. Anyway, we couldn't eat those. But those are the only two we didn't eat.
Yeah. Because they got too friendly, so they didn't.
But the rest of the time when we had animals, we did that for.
So, how did you feel when you finally sold the store and retired?
Oh.
I mean,
I missed all the people
Uh-huh.
and the busyness of it, you know.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, here I was doing everything.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden you don't do it. I was chief cook and bottle washer. I was the bookkeeper, sales girl, buyer, you know, everything. So then nothing, you know. It was very lonesome for a while.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, you had been looking forward to it, right? I mean, because you were so busy.
Yeah, I thought.
But it was just a shock.
Oh boy, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But, it was not as good as I thought it was going to be at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But right away, boy, it took me a while to get used to that.
Uh-huh. So do you have advice for Sven then?
Mm-hmm. Keep busy.
Keep busy.
Busy. Anyway, biggest part of my life was when all these kids were born.
Mm-hmm.
2 in the same year.
Mm.
Can you imagine? Not everybody even bragged about that.
Well, they weren't in the same year, but they were
11 months.
Within 12 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within 12 months span. That was fun. And then the
You kept me busy.
Grandchild. Great-grandchild, I should say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That made me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought I'd never see that, you know. So that's kind of nice. And he's such a doll.
Uh-huh. So is there anything else you wanna tell us? Yeah. Thank you for all these stories. They're great.
There's probably a whole lot I could think of if I could think, you know. But
oh, you've done well.
Yeah.
I forget.
Uh-huh. Well, there's a lot of stuff that I knew but couldn't really remember, and then there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that you told me. So.
Good. Is it all over?
Yeah.